You probably know what pride feels like. That quiet satisfaction when someone notices your success. That sting when someone gets credit you think you deserved. That slow, invisible drift away from needing anyone, including God. Most people call that confidence. The Bible calls it the beginning of destruction. And according to one of the most convicting teachings to come out of the 20th century, pride is not just a personality flaw. It is the oldest sin in the universe. And it is hiding inside the church right now. Let's go back, further than Eden, further than Adam and Eve, before the earth was formed, before the first human breath was drawn. There was a being of extraordinary beauty and intelligence. The Bible calls him Lucifer, the son of the morning, the most magnificent creature God had ever made. Ezekiel 28:17 records God speaking directly to him. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. Read that again slowly. His heart was lifted up because of his beauty, not because of something evil, not because of something obviously sinful, because of something God himself had given him. That is what makes pride so dangerous. It does not start with wickedness. It starts with a gift and ends with forgetting who gave it. Lucifer had everything: position, power, presence before God. But somewhere in the corridors of heaven, a thought formed. Isaiah 14:13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will be like the Most High. 5 sentences, every single one beginning with the same 2 words. I will, I will, I will, I will, I will. That is the heartbeat of pride. Not I surrender, not I submit, but I will. My way, my throne, my kingdom, my glory. And the moment those words formed in Lucifer's heart, the most beautiful creature in creation became the most dangerous enemy of God. Pride did not just corrupt Lucifer, it transformed him entirely. The same being who once stood in the presence of God became the one who now prowls the earth seeking whom he may devour. Now here is where it gets uncomfortably close to home. Because pride did not stay in heaven, it came to earth, into the garden, into the human heart. When Eve looked at the forbidden tree, what did she see? Genesis 3:6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took. To make one wise, not just hunger, not just beauty, the desire to be more, to know more, to become something greater than what God had already made her. Sound familiar? That same whisper has never stopped. You deserve more than this. You are smarter than the people around you. You do not need anyone telling you what to do. You have outgrown this church, this pastor, this word. Pride always sounds like promotion, but it is always a demotion in disguise. Now this is where the teaching gets surgical, because pride does not only live in the obvious places, it does not only live in the arrogant, the boastful, the openly rebellious. It lives in the religious. And this is what made the message so confronting when it was preached. The Pharisees were not drunkards. They were not thieves. They were the most devoted, most disciplined, most scripture-memorizing people in Israel. And Jesus called them whitewashed tombs, beautiful on the outside, dead on the inside. Why? Because their devotion had become their identity. Their knowledge had become their throne. Their position had become their God. They fasted, so people would see them fasting. They prayed, so people would hear them praying. They gave, so people would know they were giving. Matthew 6:5. They have their reward. Not God's reward, their reward. The applause of men, the nod of recognition, the reputation. That is pride wearing a prayer shawl, pride carrying a Bible, pride standing behind a pulpit. And here is the question nobody in the room wanted to answer. What does pride look like in the church today? It looks like a minister who cannot receive correction. It looks like a believer who has not learned anything new in 20 years because deep down they believe they already know enough. It looks like someone who left their church not because the word left, but because they were not given the position they felt they deserved. It looks like a congregation more concerned with the size of their building than the condition of their hearts. It looks like someone who posts their Bible reading every morning online, not to encourage others, but to be seen. Proverbs 16:18 does not whisper this. It declares it. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Not maybe, not sometimes, always. So what does God do with pride? He resists it. James 4:6. God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. That word resisteth in the original Greek is antitasomai. It means to set oneself in battle array against. God does not ignore pride. God does not gently nudge pride. God sets himself in military formation against the proud. Think about what that means. The very prayers of a proud person, God is positioned against them. The very plans of a proud person, God is working against them. The very ministry of a proud person, God is opposing it. You can have the right doctrine and the wrong heart. You can have the right words and the wrong motive. You can build something impressive and find that God was never in it, because he was standing against it the entire time. But here is the other side of that verse. He giveth grace unto the humble. Grace, unearned, undeserved, unmerited favor. Not to the most talented, not to the most educated, not to the one with the largest platform or the longest title. To the humble. This is what the scripture shows us again and again. Moses, the meekest man on the face of the earth, spoke face to face with God. David, a shepherd boy nobody thought to call when Samuel came looking, became the man after God's own heart. Mary, a young woman of no social standing, was chosen to carry the Son of God. None of them were chosen because of what they had. All of them were chosen because of what they lacked, the pride that would have gotten in the way. So here is the hardest question this video will ask you, and it is worth sitting with before you swipe away. Where is pride hiding in your life right now? Not the obvious places, not the easy ones to confess. Is it in how you respond when someone corrects you? Is it in your reluctance to serve in a role that nobody will photograph? Is it in the way you subtly compete with people around you, even people you call friends? Is it in a relationship with God that has become more about routine than genuine surrender? Because here is what the scripture makes clear. God can work with weakness. He has done it 1,000 times. But pride closes the very door that grace was trying to walk through. Micah 6:8 gives us the alternative in 3 simple instructions: to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. Not walk impressively, not walk successfully, not walk visibly, walk humbly. That single word, humbly, is the difference between a life God builds and a life a person builds with God's name on it. This teaching survived not because it was comfortable. It survived because it was true, and because every generation that has ever walked into a church has had to face the same invisible enemy sitting quietly in the pew beside them. Not the enemy outside the walls, the one inside the heart. Pride is the sin that convinces you that you do not have it, and the moment you are absolutely certain it does not apply to you, that is the moment it has you completely. So the question is not whether pride exists. The question is whether you are willing to let God search for it. Psalm 139:23. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. That prayer, 4 verses long, is the antidote to a lifetime of pride. Not a program, not a sermon series, one honest prayer. Search me. If this video made you stop and think, if it made you uncomfortable in the right kind of way, then it did exactly what it was meant to do. Like this video, subscribe to Spirit Lens, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Because sometimes the most important message is the one nobody wanted to preach, and nobody wanted to hear. Until now.